So segueing just a little bit to the music front and the way that music has been discovered, consumed in the last decade or so, and Tim, the role that the Pandora's played in that, and the fact that you guys have had a degree of success. I mean, there's been no shortage of sites attempting to do things along the lines of what you do. Can I ask a question as simple as what have you guys done right, whereas some people have fallen by the wayside?
We've done a lot of things wrong too,
yeah.
for sure, over the years. I think the key catalyst for Pandora is it really makes it easy to find new bands you've never heard of before. Mm-hmm. I think that's what causes people who began using it years ago to tell their friends about it. Because I think pretty much everybody, certainly as you get older, you don't lose your love of music, but it gets harder and harder to stay connected with it. Radio speaks to a younger audience than you over time. You're busy, and you stop discovering new bands. And so music kind of becomes wallpaper a little bit more. You don't have 2 or 3 hours to go to the record store if there is one in your neighborhood anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think that the basic engine of Pandora, this Music Genome Project, because of the way it connects songs based on the intrinsic musical properties, it's utterly blind to popularity. So it plays songs on a station without regard to whether the artist is well known or not. So it's a completely level playing field. And 70% of our catalog are independent artists. And they wind up, on stations with these guys. Mm-hmm. Someone starts a station with Chameleon Air, they find the next Chameleon Air, not that you can be replicated, Chameleon Air Jr. On that station. And that's, when you get somebody turned on to music, I think that's what's caused Pandora to grow the way it has.
And to contrast it with a site that, and we all know it's had some bumps recently, but certainly for the last decade or so, MySpace in many ways, for artists, for emerging artists, has been that go-to place where you create a page, and that's where hopefully people will see you. And that, I think, if you had to point to one site that was the sort of the entree for a lot, the fact that in 2011 we have just so many more emerging artists able to be heard than we did it 15 years ago. Is the difference really, is the key difference here that you guys are sort of helping lead the people to that music, whereas if it's MySpace, it's incumbent on you, the user, to sort of like seek it out?
Yeah, I think you've put your finger on what has been the key problem and remains the challenge, which is there have been two kinds of music sites, broadly speaking. The ones that collect and aggregate enormous amounts of content, MySpace being one of many. Mm-hmm. So you can go there and get almost anything, but you got to find it. And you've got sites, which there are many, who curate for you, that they're a single stream, or it's a reviewer, or someone's picks. It's a very narrow stream, it's very carefully curated, but it's just a small selection. So super good recommendation, but tiny little pipeline. Huge pipeline, no recommendation. Mm-hmm. And what we're trying to do is bring the sort of power and personalization of this to the big bucket. So you can go into MySpace, and it's like putting a magnet into this pool of music, and the stuff you like will just come to you. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what we're trying to do. And I think that's where the big solution is here.